They say love is the most beautiful thing in the world. The love we have for our children, our families, and our friends. But what if I told you there's a man who sacrificed his family life for hawks? Yes, he left his girlfriend in the village just to live with hawks on the streets of Nairobi.
So next,
These hawks gave me a reason to live again. They gave me a second chance at life. But his story with hawks didn't start like this.
Kwa majina anajulikana kama Rodgers Magutha aka Nairobi Bird Man.
My name is Rodgers Magutha, also known as the Bird Man. I feel complete when I'm with hawks. The first time I saw Rodgers, I was shocked. A man walking through the busy streets of Nairobi with hawks on his head. I was baffled. I've spent my life talking to the most extraordinary people in the world, but Rodgers, he caught my attention. I had to know, how did he meet these hawks? How did he convince them not to fly away, but to stay with him forever? One day, I was sleeping on the street as usual. I'm homeless. It was raining and I saw a baby hawk crying. Alone, it looked abandoned by its mother. As homeless man, I know what it feels like to be abandoned. It broke my heart. I found a chicken leg in a dustbin near the mall where I slept and gave it to the little hawk. It ate with so much appetite. At first, I didn't take it with me. I thought its mother would return. But the next day, I saw people stoning it. I felt terrible. I couldn't let it suffer, so I took it with me. I had nowhere to go, but at least by my side, no one could hurt it. Rodgers, a man struggling to feed himself, now carried a heavier burden. He had to find food every day, not just for himself, but for the little hawk. But how did he manage that?
So since
I tried to make friends with restaurant workers, hoping to get leftover meat for the hawk, but it didn't work. People here are selfish. So I started teaching the hawk to eat fruit. It was hard, but it worked. We grew closer. I began worrying about the day he might fly away. That thought melted my heart. So I gave him a name, like my own child. I called him Johnson. Oh, what a heart-melting story. A homeless man finding his soulmate in a hawk. But I wonder, will Johnson stay forever? What if his mother comes back? Would Rodgers fight for a hawk with claws sharper than knives?
sometimes they made me...
Yes, I started feeling worried about his mother returning. I didn't want anything to separate me from my best friend. You know, life on the streets is hard. Everyone is selfish, bitter, and rude. People have lost their humanity here. Every time I try to talk to someone, they fought me, insulted me, sometimes even worse. I've seen terrible things on these streets. Human can be so violent. But for the first time, I had a friend who could never betray me, and I was terrified of losing him. Many people didn't believe him when he said this, but to Rodgers, these hawks were more loyal than any pet, more loyal than any human. At first, I thought he was practicing witchcraft. I was scared to approach him because of the hawks, but seeing how these birds stay with him, I believe there's something special about their bond. Honestly, I was scared of him too. You know how dangerous street boys can be, but when I saw him smiling and playing with the hawks, I realized he's different. He has a kind heart. Rodgers and Johnson's journey wasn't easy. Rain or shine, they struggled together, and when joy came, they shared it too. To Rodgers, Johnson wasn't just a bird, he was more than a brother. Watching them, I started to believe that some movie stories might actually be real, because Rodgers and his hawks, they are living like characters straight out of an animated CGI movie.
Johnson the Hawk King.
Johnson got used to me and I was so happy, but more challenges were coming. One day, a second hawk appeared. I named it Jamie. Then I found out Jamie had a twin, so I adopted that one too. Later, a fourth hawk joined. It had the flu when it arrived, so I named it Corona. Sadly, Jamie's twin passed away. Now I have 3 hawks. With 3 hawks on his shoulders, Rodgers had no time or energy for anything else. His entire life became about one thing: feeding his feathered family, and that was a real struggle. Rodgers realized his life had changed forever. His only mission now was to take care of the hawks. No friends, no family, and his girlfriend. She was still waiting in the village, hoping Rodgers would return with a job and marry her. But little did she know, her boyfriend's love had shifted to the most feared birds in Africa. I had a girlfriend. I really wanted to marry her, but with this life, struggling every day just to feed these hawks, I've lost hope. Marriage costs money, a lot of money. These hawks, they changed how I think about life and the world. Now, I see the world differently. In many African countries, people believe that hawks bring bad luck. They say if a hawk calls from the top of your house, someone in your family will die. That's the myth we grew up hearing. But Rodgers, he's changing how people see hawks, not as symbols of witchcraft, but as loyal companions. I know when they need water. I know when they need sleep. I can read their body language and understand what they're saying. To me, hawks are better than anything else. They are loyal. Before, no one talked to me on the streets. If people saw me, they would hide their phones thinking I might steal from them. But now, with hawks on my head and shoulders, people come to me. They reach top their cars just to ask how I got hawks to stay with me. Now, I feel loved, and it's nothing like before. Rodgers is right. Now, he's everywhere. On national television, on social media, in the streets. People call him the Bird Man, and he's the talk of the town. His love for nature is incredible. You can see it in his eyes. Rodgers is different. He has a big heart. He sacrificed his dreams for hawks, but he doesn't regret it. Living with these hawks has given him a new purpose. But even with all this attention, Rodgers is still struggling. He's still homeless, and feeding 3 hawks, that's a daily battle. But I'm not going to leave Rodgers alone, and I know you won't either. Join our membership program for one-on-one conversation with extraordinary people like Rodgers. I'll leave a link in the comments for exclusive access to stories like this one. By joining, you're not just supporting real, fearless journalism. You're helping us give a voice to those who are often unheard and share stories that truly matter. And if you're not subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button and share Rodgers' story with the world. Rodgers didn't choose this life, but maybe, just maybe, this life chose him, and now he's chosen to dedicate it to the creatures who showed him loyalty when no one else did. Would you give up everything for something that finally loves you back? Because sometimes the family we choose is the one that saves us. I am Nameless Campus and this is Afrimax English. Let's meet in the next video.